Greetings, Cryptopocalyptics. Welcome back to the stream. This is part 2. Last night we had a technical issue. The whole computer reset. It was so fast I couldn't even blink. Something happened, I don't know, key combination or something. The whole thing reset. I apologize for that. There were a couple of things that I wanted to talk about before signing off, but unfortunately, yeah, I'm here for the tech. I'm here for the tech. You already know that. Now, for those of you who were swimming, like I have been, underwater for the last 48 hours, you should be out of your position. We had a nice little pullback that allowed plenty of space for us to get out of our short. But today, we're looking at Bitcoin 3D. What does that mean? Well, let's find out. Oh, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we just started. The stream is going to get wild in a little bit, but I want to ask you for 5 minutes of your time. If you can do me a small little favor, and there's a new version of Bybit Pro in the wild, and I want to check it out. I want to make sure that we're using the latest and the greatest for this live stream, so I'm going to go ahead and download it. In the meantime, that's going to take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to set it up on my PCs. That's plural. And you can go ahead and get your coffee and start your morning nice and fresh. And we'll be looking at the charts in no time. I think we have a trade setup that's coming up. So let's do that real quick, shall we? Let's do it. Coffee time. Bybit Pro downloading. 5 minutes. And I'll see you then.
Woo! The end of the month, July, left us with a banger at the end. We were looking forward to this, and I think Bitcoin has shown us the way. All right, my dear traders, Transgenic presents the latest and the greatest. Right before your eyes, Bybit Pro version 1.6.2. If you don't have it, you should go ahead and download it. This thing is going to once again change your life. And we have amazing features that are built in. And now you finally get to have access to all of it here. So let's jump into settings. All right, we have the time. We have the time for our chart analysis, no rush. What's new here? Ladder history length. Well, let's just, I think 20 is okay. I don't know if this affects the performance. Make it 30. Cyber Spy, my favorite notification sound, post only, limit take profit. Now, you guys will notice that there's a new feature here. There's order. By default, it's set to order. You can click on this and it will switch to position. Again, automatic limit take profit only works if you have Bybit Pro running, and it's a good idea to make sure that your connection is stable. By the way, last night's video did not have any it didn't have any sounds coming from the stream, so let me know if we have our tunes playing in the background to smooth out the whole experience. Because last night's stream was like a speech at the funeral. It was a whole lecture and no music. It was terrifying. This is being recorded. This will be available on YouTube. Now, if I have a fairly complicated setup here. Our robot, Tonto, created a machine here that requires a lot of inputs and outputs, and things may crash. I don't know why, but it may happen again. But if it does happen, we'll just jump right back into it, split the stream in two, and it should be okay from there. Now, the chat today is open for all. It's not subscribers only, but I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe. And already, thank you for those that clicked like before we even started. You know this is going to be good. It always is. But welcome, Box. Good morning, VR Customs. Good evening. HT Min 37. Barry W. Dennis T. The El Morte, the one and only. Kevin, Clifton, Radosh, everyone's here. Miller 10, Josh. Awesome. Confirm orders. I only have my close button enabled here, just because sometimes when you want to close Bybit Pro, you're right near that market close button, and sometimes that triggers and takes you out of your position before time. Everything else is okay. And for those who are missing the feature called market orders, you can go and click on your chaser 8 times rapidly. So point your mouse arrow over here and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bam. You have your market hidden feature. This is hidden by default, but this is how you enable it. So this enables market orders tab. It's not a simple little add-on. Before it was very primitive. We made it so that people don't, you know, beginner traders, they don't abuse it too much, because that's how you can actually use market during heightened volatility. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that make sure to take profit and account for what you pay in fees. You have to do a little bit of math with market, but it's okay. You can enable it here this way. Click, switch the toggle here to enable, and it should be good to go. Everything else is looking peachy. WebSocket, I don't have any issues with. These are advanced issues settings for people that are having issues with connections or something like that. If you're using VPN, if you're traveling, or if you're just using VPN in general, which, you know, is a good idea when you're trading crypto, make sure you're using something that's that gives you a solid, stable connection, such as Proton VPN is a very good one. I'm not sure if it's pricey or not, but it's what I use personally. And before that, I used ExpressVPN, and it was a little flaky. With Bybit Pro, ExpressVPN, wouldn't recommend it. Proton is where it's at. So give it a shot. And here's the new interface. Bybit Pro. Get rid of all the drawings. All the usual stuff is in here, except now you have this crazy option where you have what's called smart fields. All of these things here are now smart. They understand human language. That's what I mean by that. I'll give you an example. So let's say we wanted to, 1 minute ATR was at it. 3 minute ATR is kind of like the sweet spot between, for scalpers, you know, 1 minute. Because one minute, it's not like it's gonna move by 1 minute ATR value and then retrace. It'll likely fluctuate between 1 and 5. So 5 will reach its peak, and then you want to take profit on the 3 minute ATR. So let's use that. It's 126 now. The 3 minute ATR. It's updated in real time. Let's give it a little test. Okay, we're gonna go 10,000 contracts over here. Now the distance is set automatically. Distance is basically where do you want this order to get triggered from current price. So if you set it to 10, once it moves up by 10 points up, it will actually trigger. It will place this order 10 plus 126 ATR value away from where price is. So this goes up by 126 points 10 points later from the time that you click the short button over here. It'll move up, eat that target location, and then hopefully go back down, and you have yourself a short. Now if you have a short, you want to take profit. And here's the cool thing. Now these smart fields over here, what you can do is you can go, since you're shorting, that'll be a minus. You go minus, and check it out. You can type, let's say 30, and it gives you the price for where it's going to take profit. So once it hits that target location at 3 minute ATR 126, so the entry would be goes up, the entry is going to be somewhere around here, and then it'll automatically place a take profit value 30 points away from that entry. Okay, this is how it works. And you can also put percentage. So for example, you can put minus 3% and check it out. When price drops by 3% to the downside, at 37.12, it'll activate your take profit on a limit order only. It's not a market. It's just gonna put a limit order in the book and it's just gonna sit there. Sorry, this take profit field, mind you, is market. Okay, this is market field, market take profit. When it's just take profit, it's market. Limit take profit is obviously limit. So using take profit field is almost like using a conditional order. So you're saying if it goes down by this much, you know, I want my Bybit Pro to automatically hit the market close button at -3% away from my entry. So limit take profit will do the same. This is amazing because now you can get a position in. So for scalpers on lower time frames, they can get in, price pulls back a little bit, boom, they're out, all on limit. You just got paid in fees, quick to execute an order of this nature, and looking double topish over here, so expect it to go lower. But yeah, you are stop loss, same principle applies. You can now put percentage, so you can say look at that red dot pushing it. The percentage here is for the stop loss will be the same. Smart field, so you can indicate the number or percent for the stop loss as well. And in the future we may look into, I'm not sure, I'm not promising anything, but there might be a possibility for us to say you can put a conditional argument here where you say I don't want to lose more than $100. So as soon as it exceeds $100 loss, it'll close the position and get you out. That kind of stop loss that is not based on anything other than you agreeing to how much you're willing to lose, and that's what it's going to do. So instead of calculating it in the risk pane over here down below, it'll be automatically conditioned over here. Move stop loss to so if we get a fill, like let's say this goes up, we want the stop loss to move to 38,593. And do this, and we'll say if price goes up to this point over here, we want to be out of that trade. And every time you get a order fill, it's going to move that stop loss to that position there. Pretty amazing. Then you also have the chaser function, and chaser is going to also have an automatic limit take profit, and it can also flip. We'll get into it in a separate video using advanced features of Bybit Pro, but it can also flip. So if you go long, take profit, automatically flip short. You'll be able to do that in the new version as well. The sell and the buy condition. For those of you who are wondering what chaser is, if you have a trial or a full version of Bybit Pro, just go to bybit.com, open it on your second monitor, and when you click buy, see what happens. As it looks at the distance, chases, and see what happens at Bybit, bybit.com. And we actually got ourselves in a position. So I don't use limit take profit. I'm still a little bit old school. So once I have a position open, I usually do a counter trade at the sell manually like this. Just place it in there, and that's one way how you can manage your trades. 100. Reduce only. But basically, go ahead and explore. Market tab now also has take profit, stop loss, and these are smart fields as well. So you can automatically set the parameters, like I'm gonna say plus 30 points, and that's gonna give you a price target. Take profit, how much you want to where you want to close the trade. Stop loss, same thing. I like it. I like it. It's smooth. We have new buttons over here. They look pretty sweet also. You can see how everything is smooth and nice as you transition. Now, Chaser, remember, some of you guys are having problems with Chaser where you say, I want to stop it. So if you press cancel over here, that's not going to do anything. You press cancel and it'll open the Chaser function again. Look at that. Place cancel and it'll automatically resume chasing. So the only way you can kill the process of chasing is by clicking stop. Once you stop it, it kills the process and it's no longer tracking price. So yeah, if you click cancel in the heat of the action, it might actually create more problems, because it may seem like some of you may experience a double entry or a double take profit at the same time, and suddenly you're short for no apparent reason, that you didn't want to go short but now you're short. And this can happen when you're using the cancel button, thinking that if you cancel it, it should destroy the process and kill the function of Chaser. But Chaser actually has a separate button over here. You go long right here. So you need to click on stop, and that will completely shut down this function here, Chaser. I like the results of our survey there. Looks like a short, long, tied, which means don't touch it. Half think that it's a long, the other half thinks it's a short. Probably the right ones are the ones that are saying don't touch it then. In my opinion, this is Hey Radosh, all I'm saying is I never advise people not to use stop losses. I just, I illustrate what worked for me, what did not work for me in my time. But it's ultimately up to the individual. It's their risk profile. Everyone's risk profile is different. And so some of you guys absolutely need to use stop losses, especially when it comes to, there's also a personality issue to consider, that, what type of trader are you? Are you responsible enough when you can manually manage and make decisions unaffected by emotions? If not, then you need to have a stop loss that will ensure that when you hesitate, your stop loss won't care. It'll just get you out of there. If you're having double thoughts, double thinking, like, oh, maybe I should hold it, maybe it's not so bad. But if a stop loss was there, then yeah, you're out and you deal with it. But stop losses are an essential part of trading, of course. We cannot ignore that. I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. I just don't want people to get the wrong impression and think that stop losses are completely useless, so we should ignore them. Absolutely not. They're here for a reason, and yeah, we should utilize them as much as we can. Okay. 26 votes. It's a good start. Thank you for participating. 34 against 34% of long and short. Let's really look into deeply into the chart and try to figure out what's next for Bitcoin. So let's refer back to the line chart that we had sitting here for a while. Okay, it's very simple and it's probably going to stay that way. Last night I was wondering if I would be in total disbelief if this thing broke out of this wedge. Now, looking at this pattern, mind you, this is actually a perfect place for breakout. It's 4/3 the way of the whole extension of the pattern. Now, a few streams ago, you remember how we drew this line when we were somewhere over here. So basically 2 months ago, we drew this pattern and we waited and we wanted to see a kiss of this trend line. And we also speculated that we will have a breakout, but it will fail. And I still think that is what we're looking at in terms of price action, because I think that we may get one more push and it'll look like a breakout, and I think we'll fail and trend down. Now, mid 40s up to 43 is the max distance that's on my watch. We're still looking at it from the perspective of a squeeze pattern, and we think that it's conforming to the setup pretty neatly. I just think that this initial tap, as Bitcoin let us know last night, I didn't know where the resistance was. Now I know. Yesterday we had a setup here, and momentum here looks so strong, and it still does. There's no sign of weakness here yet. It's a bit overbought, but it tapped precisely the green line, and I was wondering if this was going to actually break out, because that would literally put me in surprise mode, and Bitcoin doesn't really manage to surprise me often, but this would have been it. And of course it failed, and we had retraced back up again. And I think we're going to come for this peak one more time, and there's a potential for breakout up to the 42-43 mark, and I think I'll still be accumulating short. I think it'll be a failed breakout, just because of how this is set up. The funding, interestingly, was very negative all the way up, and then right at the top here yesterday it flipped bullish and we instantly dumped. Funding that we're looking at right now is also, now USDT chart has different funding numbers over here, and they're neutral right now. Okay. People just want to see what if it's going to print a bull flag over here, and from the looks of it, it may print a little bull flag. We can break out, and the extension would be the base. It'll probably go up to 42-43, hang around there, and then come back down. I don't think it'll break out, and then the reason it'll do that is because we'll need to time adjust the chart over here, and there's a very slight variation of how this can go down. Number one, we have a line chart that is perfectly connected with 2 points over here, and yesterday this line was sitting right at the green peak point right here. It got rejected. Okay, we got our signal. We understand that the market is seeing some sort of resistance there, and I marked it on this chart. I used the peak of this initial spring up here, retrace, rebound at the bottom, and that gave me this little box, which, you know, if you were a graphics designer, you would not suffer from OCD here and say, hey, I like this is perfect. Now, the markets don't really work like that, but at the same time they do. if you can find things that align and have multiple points of confluence, then you're that much more comfortable trading Bitcoin in that particular direction. But knowing Bitcoin, if we go back to this chart over here, and let's use an extension line and actually go really deep into marking this from the peak over here to the peak over here, we can see how that line deviates a little bit from the green breakout. So we need to close above it, and I don't think we will close above it. I think we will eventually find our way breaking above it, and that's where people are going to get trapped. Remember, this is one of those 1L. We needed 2L, and I think there's going to be a little grind before we have another major upswing, if the market decides that this could be a phase for a recovery, and this will go to about 48.50 and probably fizzle at around those levels. This would also coincide with this purple line that sits and represents a bigger, visually more appealing resistance, in my opinion, than the one here. I think this blue box that we're looking at right now is an illusion resistance, and I think it can easily be conquered, but at the same time we will have massive volatility at these levels. So lots of great trading opportunities, especially on MarketSpy signals throughout. So every day you should have at least one trade sitting in there somewhere, and that should be okay. But this is the projected direction of this particular setup. I just think that the market will use this line as an excuse to pause a little bit and retrace back down. Now, because we came all the way up from here from this pivot, we're not actually longing this breakout and getting trapped in it. There are two scenarios for us. Away from this point, it's either we break out in excess of force and power, and then we'll need to sell into it, or at least that's my plan. I'm sharing it with you. I don't know what your strategy is, but I'll sell into that strength on the breakout, or this has to come back down, and like I said, this is going to be an HC formula here, which sits somewhere around, let's just say roughly 35 for the sake of keeping things simple. Now I can dance around maybe 38, 33.8, 34.5, 35, you know. But this is where I will consider going long again. It's at the HC. And in order to accomplish this feat over here, we need to look at our indicators and see if they're telling us anything in particular about potential support here and a retrace zone, if at all possible. So for that, we will be using DSR, and it is configured to take advantage of the weekly time frame on this USDT chart, and it is showing me that we're struggling with the 200 EMA right now, right? But that's really nothing. We're still floating above, as you can see, the yellow sign over here. We're floating above it, and on weekly time frames, the top would be represented by this green block right here, which sits right in the resistance area. Okay, and remember, we kind of started going in that direction from 2 days ago. So 1, 2. It is Tuesday, I believe, Wednesday. Soon, and this is the middle of the week, and we have the potential to go up to this line again and knock on this resistance door, and I think this is where we may have a fake breakout up to 43, 42, 43, somewhere around there. And we're gonna stay here for a little while until we tap the red line, and then we're going to come back down to retest it. And at that point, I don't know if it's actually going to hold it or not. Usually the first attempt it doesn't. Markets are not that clean all the time. It'd be very surprising if it does, which is, it's good news if it does, because that means we're going higher. We have a trend reversal. However, back to the buying opportunity, we're now looking to this gray block over here, BC and TC. We fail and go back down to about this level over here, that 50. That's an automatic buy. So you can see that we had plenty of resistance here on the 8-hour chart. And I think when it comes back down here, so this is my confluence point number 1. Right here, purple line, red block, S1. First potential wave of the trailing steps to get triggered, chop around here, and I think it's a long opportunity that is going to push the price higher from here. Now this 250 will eventually meet. If that happens when the price is somewhere around here, we'll have a sharp pullback towards these levels. And the traders will say that this is a retest of the breakout point. On the line chart, if the blue line closes above this green line, that means we've closed successfully above a critical level on the weekly chart, and that we will have to see how things are looking on Monday for that. And that would give us a confirmation that the trend is indeed your friend, and we're having a sustained reversal that can last. However, I highly doubt it. But I do think that there's a buying opportunity, which we shift our perspective to HC, sits right here at S1. And I think if it's a sharp pullback, it's an automatic, very quick buy for me. And then I'll see if I want to hold it or quickly take profit. That'll be interesting to see. This is an 8-hour chart. For now, I do think that we're going to go towards the green magnet block right here. 1 second. Just make sure that we have things. Yeah, held by the 50 over here. Look at this. We're going to have a break above the yellow. We have a green dot over here, and we have that momentum that is slowly accelerating. But I think we'll pause and retrace and go for a retest. Now, if that's the breakout, and once we have a retest and we stay above that level for a week or so, and we refuse to go back basically below this green line, then we're looking for a full retest of 59.60, and that's going to be a double top, and we'll see what happens then. But this is our projected sort of looking forward into the future situation here, how things are going to play out. Okay, now that's my take on it, and I think that's what the market wants to do. Now, we had a little rejection here. If we're buying this faithfully, thinking that this will resolve, we have momentum that's shifting a little bit. Although we didn't really see faded yellow like we saw over here. A little pause. We need to. It kind of shifted to blue right away, and that's a little bit too aggressive here. On VVS, volume and volatility stress indicator is showing us that we have gone up a little bit too aggressively. So there may be one more pullback. We have two conditions for that to happen. We have, first of all, the gap. We can speculate that the gap will be closed, and that's back at 32. And then if this looks something like that, could be a little nutsack pattern. You guys love those patterns that have unique names to them. But we could have a double bottom. The name of the stream is 3D. Look at the 3D chart. This chart is important because 3 days worth of price action now. Been going up for a week. We're facing a little bit of a resistance here. It's very thin, which means we're going to chop through it multiple times. But here's my argument that if there's going to be a pullback here on the 3D chart, USDT is not really showing it to us here, but hold on a second. Let's switch over to the normal chart right here. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with. Can you guys, should we go into single mode? Man, how beautiful is that freaking bathtub / banana pattern that we have? Nobody saw this coming. I kept telling you, and congratulations if you're actually nibbling on these trades, trying them here and there, and taking advantage of what we're forecasting. You should be doing great. Yeah. So 3-day chart. Let's go back to 3-day. Turn off all the. Here's what we're looking at. Not DSR, ME. So you know what this is, right? This is a bullish signal, but it did not happen on this candle, which is too bad. It's a bit lagging. And it's late to the party. However, there's one thing that's very interesting here, and that's baseline reclaim and a very thin monthly CPR line that you can't even see the separation. You know how thin this thing is? It's so thin. It's literally like one line, but there's 3 of them. It's all of this sandwiched into one. So we're gonna have some crazy volatility here. But this is showing us that there's strength. Now, obviously, when we look at the candle, it's like, yeah, genius. Of course, it's strength. Like, you don't need an indicator to tell me that this is a powerful move that we had witnessed. 10%, right? It's in EQ3. It's the last, basically the last chance for Bitcoin to stay above this level and not go any lower. Actually, the last chance would be somewhere around here on the yearly 24 to 25 pivot level right here. But for this particular setup, let's refer back a little bit. We have a downtrend. It goes down for a while. We have a reclaim where we have one full candle that closes above it. And we have a trading opportunity there. I think it is safe to say that we're going to have to come back to this level. Now this is at 35, 34. There's a gap. I think it's possible that we have a retest, but we're going to wick down, close that gap, and pull back again into the green range over here. We closed above it. We need this candle right now to close above the baseline over here. And when that happens, we're going to get a little pullback. A typical sign of strength candles is that they are so powerful that they exhaust and pull back. A buying opportunity sits right in the middle of the HC of the move, somewhere at exactly 35. So 35 and below is a buy signal, because I think it's not going to last if we close the gap. If we close it, or we may start moving towards the gap, creating the illusion that we're going to close the gap, but halfway there it's going to stop and then impulse back up. So in that case, what I'm personally watching is, this is my buy area. Now, I don't think it was resistance, so why would it be support? But just because these indicators are telling me that there's a pullback potential to this level after the strength candle, I'll take the word for it from MarketSpy and just go along the way and trade it. Leverage trade here is not necessary and is not advised, because if this starts to really starts going up, then on 1x you stand to benefit a lot. At the same time, if this fails and goes lower, you will be able to average this down to 20 or so, and you better believe that we're going to have a bounce away from those levels, and you should be okay. It's just that you're going to get locked in inside of that trade. Now, here are two things that are very important to keep in mind. There's a USDT way of trading, and there's like Bitcoin way of trading. Okay. I had a conversation yesterday with one of our traders, and there's an interesting observation. If you have USDT and you go long on Bitcoin, let's say you have $1 million in your account, USDT just parked, sitting in there, and you're waiting to buy Bitcoin. What happens is that if you open, let's say, 50,000 worth of Bitcoin, so you go long $50,000 worth of Bitcoin's value, and guess what your liquidation is going to be? It's going to be like $300,000 with that number, which is quite insane. It's a trick, and it blew my mind when I came to realize it, because what happens is, if you're trading with Bitcoin and if you're long only on Bitcoin, people say shorting, there's an infinite risk and very little to gain from it. They would be right, except if you're long only, if your strategy is long only and you have Bitcoin to trade with, your liquidation is right there, lingering. Doesn't matter how, let's say we open 1x. If you open 1x, for example, 1 Bitcoin, and this thing drops by, let's say, 10K, your liquidation price just creeps up, and it's right there on your tail. So when prices drop and you're long on Bitcoin, you're screwed. Like, you're putting yourself at risk longing Bitcoin, which is the most safe way to do it. Longing an asset that's been up most of its time is not a bad idea. But if you're doing it on leverage, understand that these drawdowns that Bitcoin experiences, when the elevator slams and cuts the cord and starts flying and accelerates and goes down, then your leverage increases and your liquidation price creeps up. So you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be smart and I'm going to park it into USDT and start trading with USDT. Now you're trading with USDT and you're going long on Bitcoin, and no matter how many times you buy and keep going long on USDT, your liquidation is literally zero. 100,000 contracts, 200,000 contracts, 400,000 contracts, your liquidation is zero, because if Bitcoin keeps falling, you're able to buy more and more and more and more of that Bitcoin infinitely until you get 1 million Bitcoins with your $1 million account, and your liquidation is still zero. So it's like, if we go short, on 1x, right, you will notice It's not, why it's not filling us up. I don't know what's going on. But if you go short on Bitcoin, come on. Look at that liquidation price. You see that? 999999999, right? If you're trading USDT, and you go short, you're screwed on Bitcoin. You're absolutely screwed because your liquidation is going to be like, let's say your account is, you have 39K, the price of one Bitcoin or whatever it is right now, 37, right? 38. Yeah, price moves up a little bit and your liquidation gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it actually drops. It's not going to be like this infinite number. It's going to creep really close. So they figured out a way how to screw all types of traders who are looking to hedge and do things with Bitcoin. So technically, longing Bitcoin and that's the reason that happens is because they're quoting you in Bitcoin only. If you're trading USDT, they're not quoting you with USDT. They're still counting your account in Bitcoins. Like how much it's funny because when you have Bitcoin in it, they tell you how much it's worth in dollars. When you have USDT in it, they tell you how much it's worth in Bitcoin. So the whole system is designed to screw you over basically. And yeah, there's absolutely no way around it. So, but if you're long Bitcoin with USDT, that strategy will actually benefit you most because you will always have enough powder. The more it drops, the more you're able to buy, the further away your liquidation is. So you're golden. So long strategies with MarketSpy, USDT, you're way more successful and risk-free doing that. Short strategies, which is not advisable, but if you absolutely had to, is Bitcoin only because, and not exceeding that leverage. We're talking about 1x because you can always hedge and your liquidation price away because Bitcoin is going to appreciate in value and it's quoted in USD, and now price goes up and your liquidation stays like right over here. You're not affected. So something to consider when you're dealing with these things. When it comes to Bitcoin and these exchanges using smart features like that to trap traders into thinking this, but really something else is happening behind the scenes. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at. We're looking at this 3D chart right here. You guys know we're in the green right now. We closed one full candle. It's a power candle, but this power candle calls for a pullback. Why? Because consider these green stops over here, which tell you that it's over. We dumped, and somewhere around here is the bottom, right? It's a reversal signal, but you're better off. The initial stop pause sign is because market moves in waves. So if this was wave 1, we have a square which gives you a buy signal, but in reality, because of its lagging nature, you're looking to short the first bullish sign. You're looking to fade it. Same goes for here. Now when you have a bullish sign, you're playing one move ahead of the opponent here, and this goes back down, scares a lot of people, and you're actually buying it because you had your buy signal over here. It had to pull back and it materialized. You have your buy signal here, it has to pull back and it will materialize, and momentum is going to support that idea, I think. So far this range gave plenty of trades for those who are more adventurous, but for those of us who had to wait a little bit, I think we're seeing Bitcoin now is coming back to, it's trying to stand on its 2 feet again, trying to get back up and get back into action, and that is of course exciting. What's not exciting is that if you're like me and you're still waiting to buy lower, it may take a little while. My theory here is that we're going to have a rally, and then later into the year, we'll actually go back down here and be able to buy it then. But in the short term, Bitcoin is telling us something, and it's telling us that I want to go up. See, I didn't realize we were in position. You got to be quick to take profit as soon as you're in profit, because things start to retrace, pull back, and look at the bigger time frames all the time. It's it really doesn't matter what happens on 5, 15. This thing will keep dancing around here. So we want to see if we close this little doji here, then we're gonna have a pullback, make it look like we're going for the gap, and maybe even close the gap. But when that happens, it's a buy, or halfway there at HC. This little thin line, once again on CPR here, it's so compressed, you cannot see it over here. I don't know if you can see it, guys, but it's literally like CPTC and BC, and you can't see it, but it's right here. That's a monthly chart, so it's close, developing CPR. We came back again at the open. We're above the open. This is configured to show us the monthly parameters. Okay, and we have a new month that's coming up. So if we can stay above the monthly open here, we stayed above it, I think there's a good chance we go up to that 43 mark, come back down a little bit. What I'm saying is a pullback to the downside is a buy for me. It's a buy. An aggressive rise right now into this blue zone is a short for me. So I'm just waiting to see what happens next. We're at a monthly open. Let's wait and see. 2 more days to go. Start yourself off on the right foot of August. So a 3D chart is the sweet spot between daily and weekly. Splits the whole thing in two, and it's telling us that a pullback is a buy, and it's also telling us a potential push up, as we discussed in the beginning of this video, is a short for me. There is resistance, and I call this here. Everyone else is calling it here too. I would imagine I see no other way to to actually position this. And yesterday Bitcoin reacted, so it's telling us that the market sees something here. In terms of the projected target, 1, 2, the base, 3, we had made one target here. An overextension from here would be sitting somewhere in the blue box, and finally the full base places us it has to be placed like this when you're doing it. Calls it for a little overshoot to 43. Like I said, that's the perfect place for an exhaustion point, I think. So let it accumulate, compress a little bit, and see what happens then. But how long did it take to identify this pattern, this bottom? It took 39 days, 1 month, and then another month of waiting for it to play out, another month or so, and now we're here. So we had successfully speculated and nailed this projection, and I think this gives us a good base to work with. And we're looking at that pullback as a potential long. And the trend continuation. Even though it's a flat range right now, I do believe that Bitcoin will eventually give us, well, just like we had projected the falling, descending, we're going to get one crazy bear flag that once we're at these levels, people are going to be questioning whether it's going to break out and challenge the top, but I think it'll fail, and down we go. Then people will look back and say double top. Then we'll do this. And we will collectively realize that we're setting up a multi-year bullish pattern. Now we've had a couple of them so far. So good. But there's more to come. And that is our next trade right here. As a matter of fact, this right here may trigger a little pullback, and then maybe an uprising from there. But yeah, there are a variety of things that are setting up, and this is going to materialize. You will see how this is going to look on the charts in about 3 months or so. But until then, we have to be patient, take profits, average yourself out if you're short. Those of you who are still underwater, we're getting that pullback. Don't freak out if it goes all the way up to here, does something, and then trust me, you're still getting a 35 or lower, and you have that gap that's out in the open. Now, speaking of gaps, there's another one that sits somewhere around here, right? There's a gap. It's not really a gap, but it's an excusable resistance slash gap at the same time area where, now remember, these candles, see this volume analysis right here? This one marked the bottom capitulation. This one marked the bottom buying power. This is all the fools that are like bearish, scared because, you know, news, I've seen it before, the pattern is going to repeat, fractals, da 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 da. This, an initial impulse. This marked the top, and we're going to have another impulse extension, a follow through of this candle that is going to come somewhere around here, and that is going to mark the top. That candle is going to be smaller. It's not going to be bigger than that. You will see that candle is to come is going to be looking like this. Going to get people excited, and then that candle is going to turn into a red candle, and the volume is going to spike, and that would be our short signal. If we're talking about gaps. Now, I can't ignore these things because I don't know what it is, but the market loves trading these gaps. And it's good to be aware where they are. And if we can use them as support potentially. So here's all of them on the CME chart where price may go. Now, if I were to show you this, what would you say would be the first gap to get filled? The one over here. Immediately next week, the one below. And if we're filling this gap, where do we go? Up or down from here? And if we're going up, are we getting rejected and staying here? Or are we going lower to fill this gap at 25? So you can see we have clusters of speculative points. One knot is here, the other node is here, and the other node is here, and these are all question marks, and you have to do this one thing, which is guess the right direction. And only a suite of indicators and technical analysis can really show us that, because the news will occur near these levels, which will trigger them to be closed. But they are open, and I have been looking at them for a little while, looking back, like each and every one of them closed basically. The problem with analysis such as those that are done by people like Alessio Rastani, one of the analysts on YouTube, if you haven't heard, is that they're always looking at the macro picture, and they're talking about, I want to see if Bitcoin, let's say there's a moving average, and he wants to see if Bitcoin closes above it and stays above it. The problem is, your trade was here. You know what I mean? Like you did not see that coming. Now you want to see the moving average if price closes above. But the thing is, to get there is how you make money. From here all the way to here, this is your distance to make money. You need to know that this is the direction that we're going. And what you do in that space of time, while we, it's not enough to see a moving average here and say we need to go above it and close. Are you crazy? You're gonna wait like a 30K pump to get your confirmation for a long? Dude, I'm shorting your ass. Once that happens and it stays above there for a few weeks and doesn't move further, I'm shorting it. That's just it's not how it works. So these guys out there, these analysts, they're always telling you they don't. You need to accumulate here, go long here, take profit here. I don't know what this is. Wait for it. Understand that if it pulls back, it's probably a buy. Understand that if it shoots from here up here, it's probably an automatic sell. And these guys, they never mention those things. They're always telling you, if Bitcoin closes below, so it closed. How come he's not short since it closed below the moving average? The thing is, you need to understand that we need to go and take a trade before that cross happens, or as it's happening. We need to be sure that this is it, that it's not going to do something like this where it closes below it. Oh no, wait a minute, now it's above it. Oh no, wait a minute, now it's below it. Like, how many losing trades did you have in this chop consolidation? So people who say we need to wait and see for like 20,000 points move to prove to us that Bitcoin is having by that time it's already time to flip bullish. So here's your homework. Ponder this chart, gaps, and see what's more likely to happen here. You have levels that traders draw on their charts, and one of them being here, which caused Bitcoin to be what looks like a rejection. So people have established that there's a level. However, there's resistance and the gap that potentially represents a better level placement on this particular candle here. And that, so this little candle here, which kind of topped out, and then everything else was just dumb money playing around here, or whatever they call them. Greedy money. I like to refer to it as greedy money, not really dumb. But yeah, and if we run this level, it so happens that now the Bitcoin made the move. Let's use Anchor VWAP from the top event. So this is an Anchor VWAP. The median price of all of this, a fair price for Bitcoin, would be somewhere around here. Again, we're back to 42.43 as the first sign of potential resistance. But this level can get run, and suddenly we'll be above this VWAP, closing the band, the gap over here at 48. A lot of people are going to go long, and I think it'll be a perfect time to go short. So my simple approach to this is that from here, I don't do anything. Unless I'm trading, you know, I scalp every day. I have tiny little trades on MarketSpy every once in a while. Today I had a trade, you know. Yesterday I was able to average out and close a trade on another account at break even. So there was no compensation of any sort besides the fees. So if this goes up, I want to be short right here. If this goes down, I want to be buying right here. Why am I buying? I'm not scared if this goes down. But 24 and 25, as this is the target price that we have been sort of preaching and waiting for a long time. Let's draw a simple quant trend line right here that shows us that support will be found between this wick, and finally this wick. So if this starts to bleed off and goes down, and this gap does not attract buyers, so we can go up to the mid 40s as we have talked about in the previous videos. So we had an impulse, pull back, we go up. This is our buying area right here, that gap. If it doesn't happen and we go lower, this is a 1x trade that is going to get you like 10,000 points, 20% on 1x. That's the distance. This 1x is going to be very easily averageable at around these lows, where we will have an overshoot down to close this gap, 26, 24, 25, and we're going to have a powerful reaction here with your average price at around here, which at worst you will be able to close as break even. So when it pulls back, you averaged out, the average sits here, it'll bounce up, you're out, and then you can safely start rebuying here if we see volume, and then we can repeat the process. So either way, if this goes down from here, we had a move, we analyzed it, we saw it coming, we saw the banana split pattern way before everybody else. We already see that in the future we will have very similar projections. If we go up here, okay, there's VWAP from the peak. This is an event. Anchored VWAP is what you use to see like what would be an equivalent of this price point, but like days later. Now we're here. What would this equal to relative to where price is right now? And that would be somewhere around here, which is a block of resistance, and we just touched it. But I don't think the first rejection is the final answer. So I think that there's a chance this goes up, overshoots a little bit, grinds, goes up, and fails. Closes the gap. It's a buying signal. we'll have a line right here. It's going to be supported. Traders are going to draw. They'll use these points right here and they'll draw a line. There will be buyers at the gap. It will go up. And then we're off to the races. So this is what I'm looking at. So in short, shorting the hell out of it here, it's not sustainable. We're not going to have a trend reversal. Buying 1x right here, averaging out and finally buying spot and getting more Bitcoin and leveraging up at the bottom over here at this gap. And then fingers crossed and Hail Mary. Breakout and finally a huge double bottom. Can you see it? This being 1, 2, and off we go. Neckline, breakout, challenge the all-time high. Sounds good to me. And from here to here, that's another 118 days. By winter, we should be flying. That's it. And this is the macro Bitcoin 3D chart view that is giving us dreams and aspirations to the future. Gaps can be used to help us identify potential points of interest. And I think it is time we looked at them and used them instead of using these blue lines as logical resistance points. I think the technical points are highlighted in orange. The logical are in blue. And in terms of price behavior and how it's going to dance around these levels and then give us buying points, we're looking 34 to 32. 9 is the buying point right there. 46 to 48 is an automatic short. Especially if from here we either go up or down, that's going to take a while for us to, once we cool off and consolidate, it's going to take a while for us to attempt any move higher or any move lower. So it has to be swift, and we're probably the only channel that's crazy enough to buy candles that are absolutely bloodthirsty, like super red candles, and then super green candles that attract buyers. We sell those. Sometimes it can backfire, but we manage well, and so we should be okay regardless. I'm not scared of making any sort of missteps here, because it comes down to the management overall. I recommend 1x because I think these moves are going to be pretty big, and as a result, rewarding. For those people who are wanting to trade daily, honestly, it's MarketSpy. It's not even me. It's MarketSpy. You have your 15-minute chart. Deal with it. Breakdown. Look at that. Reclaim. Get in on it. Checkpoints. Utilize everything. Right now, look at that. Look at that breaking down. It's probably going lower. Once we lose the purple, it's over. Yeah. We're going to be trending below this daily trend line when we come back to it. There you go. This is my buy area. There's a gap right here. Okay, once that happens, or for you shorters, your signal is coming soon. Once we have a little flag compression, when we break below it, yeah, it's over, and we're going to be closing that gap. You can see we have signals over here. Blue dots. Yeah, you got a consolidated signal range here. Price goes up. This is where you're shorting. Like I said, we're the lunatics that are shorting price action that's going up, and we will be the ones that are going to be buying it from here. Whoops, sorry. What? This? I'm sorry. Here it is. Check it out. We are Armageddon, come back here. Yeah, it's not a retest. We had 0 chances to go long. Look at the diamonds. Boom, disappear here once. That's your entry point right here. Off we go. And now we're looking a little bearish, which means we're most likely going to go up. And when that happens, you're probably going short. The chops through here. So very oh, why not? Why aren't you short, Crypto Ranger? If that is a short signal, why aren't you short? Good question. Why am I not? You know what? I'm gonna calculate it like this. Suppose stops are here, 895. It's about 6 hours, no. 4 hours, no. 2 hours, no. 1 hour, about there. 1, 2, 3. Almost 1x. Go low, and then I'll just forget about it until tomorrow. Pretty sure I'm going to wake up in profit. What about higher time frames? 1 hour. It's just a little pullback. Yep, chop solidation. So it goes up, we scale into a short. It goes down, we take profit. It goes up, we scale into a short again. It goes down, this time it really goes down. We take profit. So let it ride for the time being. And if you're trading this, you know, you should have no issues whatsoever. Because your actual trades directionally increase your probabilities of a successful trade on MarketSpy signals by strategically placing your orders near those levels that we discuss, between 34, 32.5. That's one. That's the gap level right there. Okay, so once price nears there, you have an oversold condition. Boom, baseline reclaim down here in the green. You're automatically looking to be a part of that, knowing that if things go down and down and down, you don't touch. You average down over here for a successful average long. And if it goes up over here, you're accumulating into a short, averaging out into a gap between 46 and 48, and it's not that big of a distance actually. So just play it right and you should be okay. And once you get those signals, right now, signals in the middle of nowhere, yes, it's a short signal. Do you want to go all in now? I don't know. I think it's going to chop. If it does chop, I want to be selling it. They have a sell signal. And see what happens from there. Starts trending below CPR on the daily open, we go down. If this goes up, starts trending above the CPR on the daily open, we're likely to shoot up into that resistance block. A channel that's in the making right now. So keep that in mind and act accordingly. Accumulate a little bit, take a short, sell it, make sure to take profit, go long. There's a long point here. Yeah, right there. It could bounce, but I don't know. I think if it does bounce, going to compress here a little bit, break out, maybe fail, something like that. So go short over here. If it doesn't work out, there's your top, close it, or if the leverage allows, average in more and keep it steady, because you know it is looking like the gap is relatively easy to achieve, and it's right here. 78 value line looks like a good place to go long down there.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully that was helpful. We kind of understand now, looking at the higher time frame structure there, where this may end up going. And we have a prediction that I'm fairly certain is going to turn out resembling pretty closely to what we have just painted. You know, those traders, we have to be ahead of time, and we have to connect those wicks and those bodies on macro to see, once we hit those levels, where the market will start drawing these patterns. So we draw them in advance, and we sort of stay in the trenches, you know, stay in the bush, waiting for the kill. And when that finally is going to happen, you'll be there, ready, with all this pre-planned in advance. Easy double bottom, back to 30 and lower, also potentially very easy. Do we have an angle of how we can trade this? Do we? Yeah, we do. Right here. This is the third wheel. All right, from this low to this square to the value line that is trending over here. It's going to take some time. This is the third wheel that we're yet to revisit. Gap. We have that angle. You know, traders are going to do it. Will it hold? Most likely. If it overshoots, what is that going to do? Well, it's going to create a W for us. A mega long signal. What about this gap? One we're watching as our potential true resistance. What about this resistance? It's a logical market/Twitter, everyone else resistance, so it's short-term healthy. All right, and this is where the shorts are going to be sitting. Can we run it and overlap a little bit like this? Yes, I think so. If that happens, what about this? If that happens, if it goes up, we won't have enough momentum and power to reach this gap right away. Although, who's to say? Binance futures, you saw what happened. 48, it actually already tapped this gap. It kind of winked at us and said, "There's the reason I went up there. There was a lot of orders sitting in there. Something happened." And so, when that finally happens, yeah, you're short. You're short when everyone is saying trend reversal. And you will remember that we have talked about incredible bear rallies that look kind of unbelievable and very convincing that this is it. And then price, momentum and volume dies, volatility dies, and we start bleeding out for months. Then we go sideways for another 2 months. And then things start to get interesting again. So all of that is yet to come. But these are the angles. Pull back here, long above it there. Directionally right now, any pullback and a base reclaim on 15, 30, or 1 hour down there, down here, is a solid buy signal. If it pulls up to this blue box, VWAP running right here, the orange line, it's a short signal, for me at least. 42 to 43, 2x minimum, I'm going short. And you might be wondering, like, but haven't you learned your lesson from the last time we went short on this Monday candle? It's only one candle. They can't scare me. Like, oh, you think this is going to change my mind? No. we needed a pullback. We didn't have a pullback. We went up like a bunch of idiots without any structure whatsoever, purely on greed. What does that mean? That means the market will punish those who participated in that narrative here. When it comes back down, however, there will be a new wave of buyers, and potentially, once the gap is closed, it'll be the right call to go long once again, because I think it'll spark some volatility here, and we'll have one more push, at least a $5,000 candle, or a multiple of, that we can take home. So I'm looking forward to that. And the rest we'll see. We'll see if we have an intraday play for tomorrow. Right now, I don't have anything. I have a short. I believe that will compress into the triangle here and potentially have a short play. Give me this 23 fib level and I'm game. Like, this goes up 23. Yeah, looks like a breakout. I want to be short around here. If it doesn't, okay, I'm waiting here with my bids. I'll be buying when it gets close to EQ3. EQ is yellow. EQ2. EQ1 is showing us sellers are starting to get a bit more aggressive. At the very top, candle analysis shows us that massive volume was here. Last night's video, I told you this is the top. This is where the funny money went in. This candle right here, look at the volume. This is the short signal, basically. Short signal. How do we execute shorts? We sell into strength. Wave, we sell into strength. Wave, we sell into strength. We sell into strength, and then we buy. We start buying it because it'll be oversold at this level. See that? But yeah, this 23 bounce right here. It has the potential to go to 23 right here. Overextend, go back down. I want to be short when that happens. I think so. Here's a signal candle, declining volume, confirmation candle right here. The top, follow through candle here. And then smaller candles that's actually going to push. One more big red candle here. And that's our buy signal. Like the next huge candle that you see somewhere around here is your buy signal. Confirmation signal would be to have a follow through white candle right after the red candle, or a green candle in your case. Watch that volume analysis video for more. It's a very good way to study volume without making things too complicated. But yeah, it's where's our momentum? It's looking like we might actually be taking a little dip soon. Yep, a little crack over here. This is where we're coming back down to this point right here, basically. Watch. It's very likely we'll come back down here. So I'm scaling in. This is my next tiny little trade. It's going to be all the way up to here. 1x. Bit more aggressive into the cloud if it goes higher. 2 to 5x right here. Instantly comes back down. Sell. Wait for it to break. Sell again. sell until we close the gap. So that's the plan right now. I'm short-sighted, no pun intended. If you're trading intraday, you're short-sighted right now, meaning you have shorts in your sights, locked in, ready to go.
Listen guys, thank you for subscribing and liking the video. I think we're gonna wrap it up. The new Bybit Pro, here's the deal. Plus 5% in the smart field limit take profit tells Bybit Pro that when price moves up by 5%, we make it 1% for consistency. Price goes up by 1%, it'll take profit on limit. Get paid in fees, execute it automatically. You don't have to be near your computer to achieve that. Beautiful. Second thing is, instead of putting a percent value, you can actually say price moves by $100 distance. That's when I want to take profit. Plus 100. For shorts, do it minus 100. If you have more questions, Bybit Pro forum at Cryptopocalypse Now Discord. Got you covered. Now I'm going to be playing with this version for a little bit. There's another function that's sort of, feel free to experiment if you know, that's what you're into, but you can share your position. I don't have it enabled, but you go to your profile, make sure that your Discord profile at MarketSpy.net, make sure your Discord is linked to Discord to MarketSpy profile. What am I talking about? Make sure your MarketSpy.net profile is linked to Discord for this function to be enabled. You will have a little checkbox, a little square at the end of your Bybit Pro where you will be able to tick it off, and it'll send your position to Discord. It'll show leverage, number of contracts, I think, and it'll show your username, your Discord username. So it's a cool little feature that if you wanted to keep alive tracking stats of your position for others to see, like a social. It can also be used for copy trading. So for example, if I if I get a position and you have some confidence and faith in Crypto Rangers madness methodologies, then you can copy that and say, okay, I want to be short as well. But remember, your contract size and everything else may vary account to account, so don't look at that. Calculate risk accordingly to what's appropriate for you and have fun with it. I think you'll like it. Most of you should have this available already. If you look at Bybit Pro, you should see that thing. Click it, it gets sent to Discord. We can check it out, and also you can really help us test the new feature. And of course, if you find some bug reports. Barry FW, thank you for subscribing. After all these years, you finally decide to subscribe. Well, I appreciate it. Either way, awesome. Yeah, that short is cooking up, and I really want to get in on it. I think it's gonna go up a little. It's gonna pull its pants up a little bit, and then that's a perfect opportunity to take advantage of that. It's an intraday, next 6 hour type of deal, where you will take profit 200, 300 points later, 90% of your position, and then see what you can do with the rest. Maybe add to it. If it starts accelerating and really dropping, you could just market enter it, put more contracts on top, and see what it boils down to. Maybe it goes for that gap in the next day and a half. Would be wonderful. But for those who don't want to mess with shorts, I told you, risky business, right? Maybe you have learned that already many times. But if you don't want to mess with that, be there with me at the gap, waiting with a couple of bids. 1x, no need for leverage whatsoever. We don't know what's going on right now. It's all speculation. But we have pretty specific points of interest that we want to participate in, and manage your positions and risk appropriately as needed, and you should be fine. It's all about waiting most of the time, and I'm seeing a red candle on 15-minute time frame on the CME Bitcoin chart. Red at the top, volume, it looks like a short in the making, if you ask me. So I don't know. You have a trade, do what you want with it. Stops right above that pivot at 23 fib. If it goes higher than that, should be out or start averaging in. Let's have a little break and get some coffee. Yeah.
Now, for those of you who are not aware, we're recruiting people into this first-person shooter tournament that's going to be cash prizes. So basically, cash prizes will be split between participants. So if you game, and that's your method of occupying yourself during trading sessions, where you get a position and obviously you need to monitor it, but you can't just sit there, look at the chart, blinking your eyes. So you turn on the movie, or like what we do in our case, we found this game that is free to play called Warzone, and I tried it. Had a few games with some of our traders inside of Discord, and it's a great time to pass time when you're on those sort of all day long sessions when you have 8 hours, 6 hours to burn, and you're just sitting there on a Saturday night monitoring your trade. And so for reasons like when you don't need to fiddle with it, when you don't need to move your stop loss, when you need to basically distract yourself, I think playing a video game with your fellow traders is a great way to socialize, get things off your chest, bitch about Bitcoin market and how capricious it is at times. And we're going to be hosting this tournament where you can participate, sign up. We'll add you in, tag you with what they call clan names, or in our case, it's like a market ticker. It literally says markets. It's called Spy Platoon. You'll be invited in there, and we'll compete with other players for cash prizes, and we come out on top. There's gear and cash to be won, and I think it should be a lot of fun. And this is also a small, interesting way to differentiate ourselves from other channels, where we can introduce certain concepts for the rest of you guys to show you that trading can be fun. It is entertainment for the most part, and mixing it business with pleasure, it never hurts. And this is just one way. So First Blood tournament is scheduled to kick off next month. We're still organizing it, thinking about what kind of prizes we'll have, but everyone's welcome to participate. Doesn't matter if you're new to this or whatever. You may discover something that's totally new, and I think it reduces a lot of the anxiety and stress of having to watch your position. So if you have a 2-monitor setup, it's great that you have Bybit Pro open on one, dual mouse, dual keyboard setup to control the other screen. Maybe you have your laptop plugged into it or something, you have a MacBook. And on your main PC, you can play and compete inside Cryptopocalypse now. Sign up on our Discord, First Blood tournament. Like I said, we'll make an announcement next week. And then this is a great way, like I said, to distract yourself. Sometimes you need to execute and just step away from it. If you sit there, you will have 100,000 decisions running through your mind, and you'll be thinking, what if? Should I? But if you're focused on something else, such as a video game or a movie, it's a great way to pass time. And it gives you that, it teaches you actually to be patient by keeping you close by your trade, but at the same time occupying you with something else where you're not visually distracted, but mentally you're not too focused on the trade, and so that you don't make bad decisions where you accidentally get motivated to close the trade, for example, because some tweet shows up or something, So we'll be hosting that, and you're invited. All the details inside of our Discord. There's a particular place called Battle Stations where you can talk about this, and details will be announced there. And then we'll have a separate channel called Gaming, and that's where we will host the First Blood tournament. I'm not really sure how the mechanics of this game works, what's needed to set up a server, but we're looking into it. I have a couple of people helping me out along the way, Sykes being one of them. And so, yeah, join in. Lots of fun, prizes to be won. We're the only channel doing this, and lots of benefits to be a part of this movement here. So join in, guys. For those of you who are not interested, can tell by the chat. There's only one question that's important right now. It's like, F your game, man. Do you see BTC hitting a new high this year? Do I see it? Yes. November. Will it happen? Regulators step in and I don't know. May not happen. But it's we may, yeah, I think by November, like what we just looked at on the charts, the time period that's needed to set up all these patterns potentially is that's how long it's going to take. It's 100. No, actually, it's a bit, yeah, no, a bit longer than that. About 130 days or so. We may see Bitcoin challenge the highs. Am I looking forward to that? No, I would actually prefer if it corrected further down to 25-20s and then stay quiet for a little bit and then resume from there. Simply because I'm not 100% in it. I'm kind of sitting on cash reserves, waiting for the right moment that never came. But patience is a mother. It'll happen, just not immediately. Not immediately. Maybe regulation is a good thing, you know, and that's not going to stand in the way. I mean, the whole space is bullish overall. And these articles, they only report it when Bitcoin is up. It was gloom and doom. We were trending down at around 30, 31, around there. ARK Invest sells Chinese stocks, buys Bitcoin. Ah, Kathy, you're great. Keep up the good work. Reddit tokens soar on Ethereum. Arbitrum launch. I have no clue. Chinese stocks crash. ARK Invest sells Chinese stocks, buys Bitcoin. Wait a minute. Second. 10 cents. Wiped another 10 billion. WeChat new signups for security technical upgrade in accordance with. So this is a buy signal, basically. It's a buy signal for Chinese stocks. Oh, we have an official response. Amazon responds to rumors that it is integrating Bitcoin payments on its platform. Amazon has recently been the subject of discussion in relation to Bitcoin and crypto. Rumors circulated as the weekend drew to a close. Bitcoin price is. What are they saying? What are they saying, actually? Responds. What did they say? Somebody tell me, please. I don't want to click on these things because I don't trust these websites. Bitcoinist. Want to inject me with a virus? AMB crypto. Cointelegraph is all right, I guess. Grayscale owns it, right? Or is it CoinDesk? CoinDesk, yeah. By the way, I have something to complain about Bybit. Bybit recently sent an email to all of you guys, I'm sure, and they talked about how they wanted to introduce spot trading which is not really spot, a USDT. It's they don't. I was thinking, we had a conversation with one of my trader friends, and we had this brief exchange, and they said, well, what do you think about spot offering from Bybit? Da, 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 da. And I was like, I want to know who the fiat gatekeeper will be, like who will be the provider for the fiat on ramp. And turns out it doesn't really freaking matter, because it's not really spot, it's just USDT. Don't call it spot, it's just crypto to crypto. And in the email they said completely free of charge, no fees, nothing. And now in the follow-up email they say lowest fees in the industry, 0.1% taker fee, and they're boasting free for makers if you're trading with like maker style on spot. And that rubbed me the wrong way. I love Bybit, but sometimes the way when companies start treating their user base as like a bunch of fools that don't know any better, and they just simplify things to the point where you feel like you're a complete tardo, that you don't know anything, and they look at you like, hey, it's free, it's spot, and they throw all these big words around, but really you're not being accurate, bro. You're not being accurate. You're not describing what you're offering, honestly, because it's like that other guy with his indicator that says trading just got easier. Never gets easy. It gets more sophisticated. Yes, but not easy. So there's no such thing. And these guys, they're starting to tick me off a little bit with the way they it's like they hired a bunch of new guys that are responsible for their email marketing campaign, and then they're sending out these emails, and the way I imagine that guy sitting there with a big ass smile on his face, and it's a sarcastic kind of like, yeah, all of you are idiots, and we're here to serve you, and welcome to trade on our platform. And I don't like it. Platoon, I'm serious. I'm not getting the vibes from Bybit that I used to. They're starting to sound a little too retail-y for my taste, with those kind of emails and misrepresentation of what their services are all about. Boom, Amla Denkus, thank you for sending me an invite on Battle.net. You're in. But yeah, so now these guys, Binance is the worst of the bunch, the worst offenders ever. But unverified accounts, this is now less than 2 Bitcoins. Guys, it was 2 Bitcoins for unverified accounts. Now it's 0.06. This is bullish, because this means that 0.06 Bitcoin for unverified, unregulated exchange, they're being pressured. This means, like, let's convert this 0.06 into a 10K minimum value. 0.06 BTC will be 10K minimum in the near future, because after that you have to report taxes, you have to comply, and they're preparing for the value of Bitcoin to sit at 0.06. If it's peanuts and the value goes down, and they have those models that project that, why would they restrict their unverified customers to be suffering the 0.06 minimum maximum withdrawal amount? Think about it. So this is bullish. Like, this is how you filter news, like noise from actual news. Like no one's paying attention to these little details like that, but there's a reason. 2 BTC when it was 10, 20K, like, yeah, okay, not a big deal. Now Bitcoin is going to get more valuable with each and every. That's what I'm saying. Let's hold on to what we got. Let's not use too much leverage. And they're reducing leverage, so regulations are coming. but it's this is kind of bullish in my view. On the other hand, this could be tied to restrictions with banks where transfers under a certain number of, I don't know. The double entendre here right now. There's two meanings that I see that they could potentially come out of this. Oh, 8Bear. I've been watching those trailers. Brother. And it's looking like the kind of thing that I might enjoy. Battlefield 2042. We can make our own game modes. Portal. There you go. I had a little tiny brain fart. Had to pause there for a second. I was like, what was it? Portal is what they call it. And it allows you to create your custom rules, game modes, and everything. So we're going to have a Cryptopocalypse now only exclusive lounge with game modes that will be designed by our community members. Bigger prize pools. I'm looking forward to that. You know, for us traders, we need things like that in our lives to keep us busy as we, you know, as we go along and trade these markets. We need to occupy ourselves every once in a while. It's good. I like it. I'm looking forward to that. Portal, bring it. So this is bullish to me, right? Somebody please make a website where you have a news aggregate like this, and all you do is just have like two buttons: bullish, bearish, bullish. So you're sitting there all day long sorting the news between bullish and bearish, and then statistically see like what's maybe they already have that here. Look at that. Toxic. You have to be a subscriber. You have to pay money. Pro only. Vote if this is shill, FUD, fake, misleading post. Now, wow. So people can actually help identify FUD, fake, misleading posts, but only if they're paying. How is that supposed to help your community? I don't know. Like, these things should be like, your opinion doesn't, bullish, bearish, doesn't really matter what you think. But if you can help the industry and the space altogether and label toxic posts and videos using this button, but you don't, this should be free and this should be paid. I don't know. MasterCard, anything to do with Visa, MasterCard, not interested. Bitcoin smashed Visa's market cap not long ago. Nothing. It doesn't mean a thing. We're partnering with this chain. We're partnering with that chain. Visa logo licensed. It doesn't mean a thing. This is interesting. Data center company dedicated to mitigating gas flaring is reportedly seeking a loan to expand its Bitcoin mining operations. All the relative news articles have 0 comments. Because you need a little bit of brain capacity to process this. It's not a headline grabbing, it's like, yeah, whatever. Good for them. But it's like, this is interesting. This is stuff that happens behind the scenes that actually has an impact on the market overall. Yield Guild Games token launch crashed by 32 whales. If I start a company next time, I'll call it 32 whales. Dedicated to this particular headline here. Crashed by 32 whales. They counted them with the binoculars. They looked at the the open ceiling. Like, yep, there's 32 whales in there, 32 wallet addresses, and they're all cashed out. Senator Warren urges Treasury Secretary Yellen to combat rising crypto threats. Politics, not interested. Finance. Sam Bankman-Fried says FTX is carbon neutral and that Bitcoin uses a lot of... F you, man! Hey. Since the beginning of time, CZ, Sam now, others, they have these little tiny mind manipulation stabs at the public where they have their own token, and a massive conflict of interest arises from that, because every time CZ would tweet bullish news about Bitcoin, he would add BNB at the end, or he would say like something like anything that starts with B is bullish. One is Bitcoin. Can you guess the other one? Wink. And he puts the BNB logo emoji in there, you know? This guy comes along, naked ass arbitrage trading desk that somehow gets lucky with the Japanese Korean connection, makes some money, arbs it, starts an exchange. Liquidity is okay. Things are going well, you know? People like him because he doesn't like to dress up and walks around with his undies to the office. And suddenly FTX token comes along, and now there's an emphasis on it's carbon neutral, but Bitcoin uses a lot of energy. So they're all in love. They owe it to Bitcoin. And you know, owing to, it's a bad feeling when you're not at the top and there's something that's better than you. Sometimes it hurts these people, and I can see right through it how these guys like Sam over here, FTX is carbon neutral. He has to go and talk about it and kind of take a little jab at Bitcoin and says, but you use a lot of energy, right, bro? You know, FTX is carbon neutral, wink, wink. Presidential campaign sponsorship, wink, wink. You know, it's a long-term plan that these assholes have, and they're all envious of Bitcoin. They don't know what to do about it, and they wish their shitcoin was in place of Bitcoin. They wish, but you know what? Never forget who Satoshi is, what Satoshi is, where Satoshi is. Nobody knows, and that's important. With crypto decentralization, and Bitcoin will remain a king. That just cannot be changed. There will be many false prophets that come in the footsteps of Bitcoin to claim try to dethrone it, but they will all fail and burn in hell for their attempts to mess with the king. This guy is getting a little too he's on the top of the mountain and it's lonely up there, so he's going a little crazy trying to cause all those crazies, you know. Elon Musk, you know, he needs to act up and act it out and then let it out, because they're out there all by themselves, no one around, so they need attention like food to survive. FTX is carbon neutral. Fuck that exchange. There, I said it. Always trying to shill something above Bitcoin. They can't really say, because Bitcoin made them. It literally made them. Like, they wouldn't be shit without Bitcoin. But it's like they cannot accept it, and they don't have to, because Bitcoin is not a person, but they still exhibit these like personal issues with Bitcoin, like kind of like I owe it to Bitcoin, and I hate that. And I'm gonna work their minds through my little tweets and interviews to slowly kill and suffocate Bitcoin to replace it with my shit token, BNB or FTX or whatever comes next. They will all fail. But I'm honestly bullish on token, like exchange tokens, for their utility. I think there's definitely a demand for those. I hate it when Bitcoin is under attack, like passively aggressively, you know, not directly. These people don't have the balls to say it because everybody knows you're here because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin literally made you. You're nothing without it. Bitcoin is energy. Michael Saylor, he does it better, you know. He can explain it to you guys. But when these guys come along and start shilling their little change tokens and saying that, start comparing them, we have a better hairstyle, we're carbon neutral, we're more green, we're more useful. It's like, shut up. You know? I'm tired of that. By the way, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. There's that's funny. It also gapped. It also gapped a little bit. Okay, so look at that. Look how many gaps it has. That's crazy. Which one will it close next? Here's what I wanted to show you. I don't know why people are looking at this chart. It's literally identical to actual Bitcoin. But it looks like at these levels, it's actually cheaper to get that exposure to Bitcoin through GBTC if you have access to it. But yeah, we have an impulse like this with a gap of this size. It is likely, because Bitcoin didn't have these over here, but every time Bitcoin had an impulse, this would also affect the price of GBTC, their index, and minus this guy over here. This also makes me think that it is likely that we're going to retest that level once again, which will bring Bitcoin basically back down to about 32, 33 or so, which will be a buying opportunity again. So GBTC is the last final chart that I wanted to show you because of how it's obviously more illiquid than the actual Bitcoin. There's not much that's going on here, but relative to Bitcoin's price, it's almost identical in terms of what we're looking at here, and a retest of that level is coming. Like this gap will not stay, and so I think that is going to happen within the next few days. Possibly next week we'll have like a little red candle. It's gonna last for 4 or 5 days, and it's a buy signal at that point. On GBTC, this is something that but this impulse up, this gapping is really bullish. It's just that, you know, I think every time something like this happens, there tends to be a pullback. It tends to be a pullback, and I think we're gonna get that pullback. It'll be more clear on this chart. I also look at total market cap, at total one, which includes Bitcoin altogether. And I think there's a potential to add more to it, but again, I think a little pullback here is appropriate. Gap closing pullback, and I think more. Notice how we had broken out from the moving average on the volume profile here. It's the MA length is 20, so we're above the normal market cap of all of crypto here, and it was an explosive move at the top here. Top is marked by initial volume surge, pullback, pull off, buying opportunity, and I think it breaks that neckline, adds a little gain to complete the range here at 1.78 trillion, which to me I think is where we will top out, which will bring Bitcoin closer to about 43, 45, hell, even 48 maybe, 48 levels. And I think that kind of flat will push us lower for that. But this initial surge here is showing us that we're definitely going to be adding more. Monies is going to be coming in, and this is regarding the total market cap as calculated by TradingView. I think it'll be adding. There's a formation, rounded formation, that's going to be looking like this. So any pullback, money exiting, will be recycled and re-entered, and we'll have that break, I think. I don't know if you can see it, but that's how I'm speculating on this. Watching like where the money is and what the signal is showing us here. Sell candle, okay. Follow through, okay. Banana pattern, okay. Impulse, okay. Pull back, okay. Red candle. Throw it down. Trend line support. Rounded bottom formation, okay. Go up. Neckline break. Add another 0.5 billion. And it should be good to go. Good to go. Challenge this range right here. In through here. Sorry, I know it's a little messy. I don't like to be overly precise with my charts. I'm not that obsessed. I think there's no correct way of drawing it. So people who are just like drawing it pretty pictures. That's how they get all the noobs. That's, you guys know that, right? That's how they get you. They're like right here, specifically on this candle, and then the new beginner traders, they're like, how did they do that? Like, why do it be? I need to schedule a consulting one-on-one session and say, why did you draw your line here and not here? Because my line, I drew it over here. And it's not, it's not their fault. It's not their fault, but it's horrible. It's horrible when people are talking about precision, like it's a scientific, not artistic, expressive form of analysis. When they talk about something that's they're like, it has to be like this way, like perfectly connected, or I go crazy, it doesn't make sense. For me, this, right? Okay, roughly around here, I can I'm executing my trade. Pull back, trend line support around here, average, impulse, sell up to here, goes up, pull back, buy, an extension. Okay, I'm out. This is my chart, right? And You just don't have time. You don't have time to be drawing and doing things. You're here to trade, analyze quickly, execute that trade, and that's it. There's no time for... If you want to do that, go to TradingView, open an account, and become a public figure that likes to accurately draw their charts, measurements, and rulers. Those guys don't trade. And they don't analyze. They're effing around, basically. Wasting their time, everybody else's time. Fibs, you know, precise precision from here. The markets are fully irrational. You cannot. They're gonna. Anyways, enjoy yourselves, guys. It's a good start for us for the week. Hopefully you had a chance to get out. Let's take a look at what. If you were short, yeah. Hopefully you had a chance to get out of that trade. It's fine. Okay, yeah, so we're still on track to retrace up to that 23 level. I'll be 1x shorting it. And it looks like Bitcoin is... What is it actually doing here? Looks like it wants to hold some sort of trend line over here. It's gonna start painting a flag. And then it'll look like it'll break out, but it'll face resistance and it'll climb down. Like, watch for this bar to develop. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll have another live stream and take it from there. I gotta go and take a little rest. It's 2:40 a.m. right now. Not healthy. I don't know why I'm doing this, but kind of like a night owl. You know what, guys? When it comes to health and everything, it depends what type of person are you. You know, everyone's different, and some people just perform better at night. You know, you have the creative spark when the moon is full and it's midnight. Others, they get up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning and they find purpose in their lives. Not me. Not me. I have no clue what's going on in the morning most of the time. And the markets too. The markets are kind of a little crazy, you know, especially the traditional markets in the morning where everyone's like just woke up and had their shot of coffee, and it's kind of reflected in the charts. Crazy time to be around. But like, come nighttime, midday when things are quiet, when everyone is busy, that's the best time to trade. When you're actually at work, because you always come home and you're like, damn it, I missed the move because I was busy. Why do you think that happens? The market prices that in. It knows that you're busy. Believe it or not, it freaking knows that you're busy, and it's gonna move when you just don't have the time for it. Okay. Anyways, I'm consolidating this spring action short over here. Bull flag, yeah, it's gonna be a bull flag. It'll fail. 42, 43 is my range maximum overnight, and yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. I like the way this looks. I like the way this looks, and it makes perfect sense. We never retrace a straight line down. We're gonna start grinding slowly, losing power, coiling up, impulse, and fail. So let's do that. Thank you for watching. I think people left a long time ago when 30 minutes ago I was like, okay, this is it. I'll see you guys later. Anyways, platoon, one love. See you guys next time. 1, 2